Hello, my name is Chloe, welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing to you the book reviewer tag. So this is going to be a pretty chilled out video. I was tagged in this by Emily from Novell Novels and it was created by Gemma from Read a Book Gem. So thank you to lovely ladies for making this tag and tagging me in it. I will just start running through the questions. There are quite a few and I'm probably going to talk a lot, so let's get going. The first section of the questions are about making reviews. So first of all, where do you post your book reviews outside of BookTube? So for me, the majority of my reviews are BookTube, especially now doing my weekly reading vlogs. You're finding out my reviews as I read the books, which I really like doing because it means I don't really have to try and remember my review. It's just in the moment. Apart from that, every book I review will go onto Goodreads. So I've been using Goodreads a while now and it was actually one of my 2020 goals to use Goodreads a lot better with reviews. So even though I'm not posting full-on paragraphed reviews, I am using Goodreads and there will be a rating and at least a sentence for every book I review. NetGalley, I will review a book on if it is a NetGalley arc, because you have to. So if it's NetGalley, I will definitely leave a review on NetGalley. And then one of my goals for 2021 is to use my Bookstagram a lot more. So I do have a Bookstagram account. I'm using it heavily for my December photo challenge. So I'll be posting there every day in December, but it's just not something I've been posting book reviews on. So what I'm going to do in 2021 is have at least one post per book I read. So it'll be the book, probably on a completely plain background, telling you my review of it and the fact that I've read it. So that is something I'm going to definitely start to do. Next is, what is your star rating system? So first of all, I do use half stars. They are very useful to me because I can never decide on a star. So if we start from the top, 5 is absolutely blew me away. Couldn't really find any issues. 4 is really enjoyed it, but something didn't sit right with me. So between that, a 4.5 star is I really loved it, but there was one thing that was bothering me and I just couldn't quite, but I know what that thing is. 4 stars is when I can't figure out what was wrong with it, basically. 3 stars is this book's absolutely fine, I've enjoyed it, but it's not blowing my socks off. So that would mean 3.5 stars is I enjoyed it. There was one particular thing about it I loved, but I didn't love it enough to make the whole book amazing. 2 stars is I didn't like the book. So I normally, to give a 2 star, I start at a 3 being fine. There are teenagers running away from the shop. Okay, 2 stars is it was fine, it was a 3 star, but I really disliked something about it, which brought it down to a 2, or there was something overall that I did not enjoy. So it comes down to a 2. A 1 star is I absolutely hated this book. I was bored, I didn't like it. So there's that. Just dot the 1.5 and 2.5 stars in there. I don't have an actual explanation for those. The next one is, convince me to read a favourite book of yours in no more than 5 words. So the book I have gone for, which I'll just pop here because it's on a difficult shelf, is Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett. And the 5 books I'm going to use are YA, which I'm counting as one word, camping, survival, romance, and in capital letters, cute. That's all it took really to get me to read the book, so you should read it too. Which book is the hardest to review and why? So I've said just classics overall. I did read To Kill a Mockingbird in November and gave that 5 stars without a doubt. So I feel like I can review classics if I love them. So yeah, 5 stars to Kill a Mockingbird. But also this year I read Alice in Wonderland. I read, God, what else did I read? Of Mice and Men. And I just didn't know how to rate them. I didn't feel like I had the mental ability to. One that really puzzled me was The Woman in Black by Susan Hill, because I absolutely loved the writing, but I wasn't scared by it, and it's a horror, so I gave that one 3 stars. But classics I do struggle with because I don't know whether I haven't enjoyed them for the reasons I don't enjoy modern books, or whether I just haven't enjoyed them because I don't get them. So I do find classics hard. Next, are there any books you won't review or give a star rating out of principle? So yes, children's books, not middle grade. I don't mean middle grade. I will happily read and review a middle grade book. I'll probably put something in the review about knowing that I'm not the target audience for a middle grade, but I will have no problems with giving that a number review. This is specifically younger children's books. So one thing I read was Mythopedia by Good Wives and Warriors. This book was gorgeous. In terms of the actual pictures, the stories were absolutely amazing. and they would have got a 5-star for that, but I just didn't know how to review it. This felt like a book that you could sit down and read to your kids to like teach them cool things, and I can't review it in that context. We've also got The Story of Babushka by Catherine Flores. I have not read this yet. I will be reading it very soon. And it's the picture book, so I don't know how I would review that. I also don't review the Horrible Histories books by Terry Deary. I'm reading the whole box set to pass over to Brittany and her kids after I've read them, and I'm enjoying them. Some parts of it make me chuckle, some parts of it bore me. I don't give it a review because I just don't know how. Okay, so now we're on about viewing reviews. Number 6, a book you really want to read has terrible reviews. Do you still read it? Yes. Because there is a reason I want to read it in the first place, whether it's that someone has given it a good review that's made me find it. It could be an author I like. I could have been drawn in by the cover. There is a reason I own that book, so I'm definitely not going to not pick it up just because somebody else has said it's bad. Whether it's one of my favourite authors comes out with a new book that other people don't like, I'm going to read it because it's one of my favourite authors. So yeah, I would not stop reading that book for that reason. Next we have, where do you view book reviews outside of BookTube, and what is your preferred format? So short or long, video, print. If I'm actively looking for a book and want to know the reviews on it, I will just check Goodreads. I will check the average rating. I will probably check out a few, if there are reviews of people I'm friends with, I will see what they've said. And then I will look at the really good and the really bad reviews and just see it that way. One thing I do, if I look at an Instagram post and it's very nice looking, like aesthetically, then I will click on the post to see what the review is underneath, if it is a book review. That probably won't get me to pick up a book, but that is a way I would view a review, is just by seeing the photo and thinking that looked nice, and then checking out what they were talking about. And in terms of preferred format, I definitely like short and sweet reviews. Keep your reviews to like 5 sentences. Don't bother telling me what the story was about. I don't like that, because I can find that out. Tell me, did you like it? Why did you like it? Why didn't you like it? Sorted. So the last question in this section, at what point do you view reviews of a book you are reading, before, during or after? And do you seek out reviews similar to your own or opposing? So I hardly ever look at reviews before I read a book. It just doesn't interest me. I'd rather go in and make my own opinion rather than going in knowing it's someone else's like favourite book. Okay, so carrying on, we had a slight interruption. So I will look if I am midway through a book and I'm not enjoying it. Then I will check out Goodreads, see if any of my friends have read it, see what they thought. If they said they DNF'd it when they got to X point and I'm at that point, then I will seek out the review then, because I want to know whether it's worth my time carrying on. If I feel particularly strongly about a book when I finish it, I will leave my own review and then I will check out other people's reviews to see whether I am like in the overall opinion, whether I'm the odd one out, just out of interest really, to see what other people were thinking. And then I guess another time where I'm looking at reviews is when I'm getting ready for our Sisters Approximately live shows. One thing we like to do, especially if we're reading a thriller of any sort, is to look at other people's reviews and talk about them in our live show, because I find it very hard to come up with things to talk about when we're talking about thrillers especially. So that's a very good chance for us to look at other people's opinions, see what they thought and discuss it. So I'm looking for their reviews after I read the book then. Now we have some prompts in the stand out from the crowd category. So it's when your opinion has been different to the majority. So the first question here is, which book have you read that has the lowest rating on Goodreads that you loved? So what I did, I looked at my read shelf and then sorted it by average rating. So when I love a book, that could be 4 or 5 stars. As I've said about my rating, 4 is very good for me. So one on here that I thought was really funny is The Mister by E.L. James. So the average rating for this is a 3.33. I gave this 4 stars. I genuinely really liked this book. I understand that there are issues with this book, there are issues with this author, but I enjoyed that. And obviously I haven't picked one book because it's me, I've gone extra. Next we have Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi, which I read after loving her book Emergency Contact. So Permanent Record has an average rating of 3.45 stars and I gave it a 4.5 star. Really enjoyed it, and there were a couple of niggly things I didn't like, but on the whole, really good book. And finally, The Killables by Gemma Malley has an average rating of 3.46, and this is potentially my favourite YA dystopian of all time, and I gave it 5 stars. So definitely different opinions on those. Next we have, and the last question, which book have you read with the highest rating on Goodreads that you hated? So hated, I've gone for 1 or 2 stars on my part. Okay, so the first one I have to talk about is We Are Legion by Dennis Taylor. I read this a couple years ago now, or maybe last year, potentially last year. This has an average rating of 4.29 stars, and I gave it 2 stars. This is an adult sci-fi book, so it's really not my typical cup of tea. So I knew I wasn't really gonna love it, but yeah, 2 stars. Wasn't a great book. This was about like a person's consciousness in a computer. I don't think I could even sum it up for you. Next we have A Bit of a Stretch by Chris Atkins. The average rating is 4.22 stars, and I gave it 2 stars. I read this very recently, actually. I had it as an ARC on NetGalley, and then didn't read it till after it came out. I did not enjoy this book. This is a biography of a man who went to prison, and he's talking about the conditions in the prison. He actually went to prison for tax stuff, so I just didn't really like his personality, and as it was a biography, that did damage the book quite a lot. And finally we have Nightshade by Andrea Cremer, which I think I read in 2018. It was a long time ago now, which has an average rating of 4.01 stars, and I gave it 1 star. This is a book about a girl werewolf who has to marry to like preserve the werewolf. I don't know, it was awful. We don't need to talk about it. So on that note, I will stop talking and I will get tagging. So I've tagged 4 people. 1 of them has directly volunteered. The rest of you, if you don't want to do it, don't worry. I just thought it'd be interesting to see your opinions. So the first one is Victoria from What Victoria Read. Then we have Sarah from Septimus Snape, Helen from Helen's Bookhaven, and Christina from Christina Campbell Books. I think I keep calling you Christina Campbell Reads and you're Christina Campbell Books. Christina Campbell Books is who I am tagging. So yeah, those are my tags, those are my answers. Let me know if you have any completely different opinions to these. I would love to know down in the description. Let me know if you do this tag. Gemma has requested that we use the hashtag book reviewer tag to make sure she can find these videos, so please do that when you do this tag. And yeah, on that note, thank you very much for watching this video. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.